Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we'll be talking about the hero Yi Sun Shin. Depending on his distance from the target, Yi Sun Shin will switch weapons and his passive will activate after every weapon swap. After he swaps weapons, the next two basic attacks will be enhanced and deal critical damage. The first attack will deal more critical damage than the second one. Every 180 seconds or when Yi Sun Shin respawns, there will be a turtle ship which Yi Sun Shin can board and gain movement speed and also turn S1 into Dauntless Fleet. Yi Sun Shin's S1 makes him slash forward and deal damage to enemies along the way. While he is dashing, he is immune to crowd control for 1 second. When he is on a turtle ship, he can actually order the ship to charge towards a direction, dealing damage to the enemy and stunning them for 1.2 seconds. When Yi Sun Shin charges his second skill, he shoots an arrow dealing damage. The range and the damage scales to the charging duration. The arrow's damage decreases with more corresponding enemies hit. When S2 is not charged, Yi Sun Shin will slash in front of him, dealing damage to enemies in the area. Yi Sun Shin's ultimate lets him launch 3 airstrikes into the air, dealing damage to the enemies and revealing their location on the map to the entire team. If the enemy is concealed, for example like Natalia, this skill will reveal them. Yi Sun Shin is an assassin marksman combi which after his revamp has become very powerful as a jungler. His two main kits are basically his passive which allows him to deal more critical damage with his basic attacks, as well as his ultimate which allows him to reveal enemies on the map, allowing him to gank better and to protect himself also. I have personally only played Yi Sun Shin in the jungle role and have only seen him in the jungle role. I don't think he does as well within the gold lane as much as we would like. This is my emblem and build for Yi Sun Shin. Yi Sun Shin's core items are Endless Battle and Blade of Despair. Endless Battle basically combines with Yi Sun Shin's passive and procs his own unique passive, dealing more damage to the enemies when he uses his basic attacks here and there. BOD basically makes Yi Sun Shin deal even more raw damage and makes his passive even more painful when he uses his basic attack. His defense items are also fairly standard, and you can see that I also built him with Demon Hunter Sword. Demon Hunter Sword basically combines with Endless Battle and Yi Sun Shin's passive to proc even more damage with its unique passive. And it also allows Yi Sun Shin to actually melt tanks and take them down even easier. In the next update, I believe that Yi Sun Shin's role will actually be changed to Assassin Marksman instead of Marksman Assassin. This means that he will be able to utilize War Axe to its full potential instead of the effect being halved. So I assume that a lot of people will actually use War Axe on Yi Sun Shin's next build. I feel that Yi Sun Shin definitely does best as a jungler, which is why I only recommend the Retribution spell. Which Retribution will possibly depend on what kind of enemy heroes you're fighting or your own personal preference. If you want to find out more about the different types of Retribution, you can watch my last video when I played Lancelot. I explained the Retribution spells a little bit there. You can click the button on the top right to watch that video. And now without further ado, let's get into the gameplay. When taking the jungle, I like to always charge my S2 so that I can deal maximum damage. When you're fighting against these jungle creeps, you can proc your passive by moving towards and away from the creep so they can proc your passive as much as possible. If you listen closely, the sound effect is actually different when you proc your passive. When I get to level 4, I like to use my ultimate so that I can see where the enemies are and I can decide what is the best thing for me to do right now. If you are the hyper, don't overextend yourself in this kind of situations because if you actually die, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. When you try to take the objective, always try to proc your passive, and you just need to proc the first passive of each basic attack, so you actually don't need to use 2 basic attacks to kill the turtle. Please forgive my noob use of the passive here. You should also use your ultimate when you're taking objectives so that you can review enemies' location and know whether anybody is able to steal your objective or not. This was a very stupid move by me. I should have waited for my tank to go in instead of me being the one to go in and engage. Always remember that Yi Sun Shin's first skill can be used to immune crowd control effects. Against Veil, this is also quite useful because you can immune his knock-up into the air. Using my ult here helped reveal the enemy's locations and it helped me decide whether I wanted to go for the objective or not. So since I saw that the enemy hyper was low, I decided to go in for the objective.
Attack the turtle! Killing spree! Ally has been slain. You have slain an enemy!
I think the most important tower in the entire game is the middle lane's first tower, because taking it away reduces the enemy's vision, and because you take away this vision, they are not able to see you roam around their territory as much as they would like. Based on the minimap, I knew that Alucard and Gatokacha was at the top lane. There is always a chance that the enemy won't recall even after going into the grass, so you should always still check the grass, and I got a kill because of that. If you are in this kind of situation where the enemy is taking Lord and you have your ultimate available, you should always just try to use the ultimate so that you can see whether you can steal the Lord or not. At this point, I knew that the Beatrix was actually dealing much more damage than me, which is why I asked her to take the red buff. I think you should always give up the buff to teammates who are doing much better than you and can actually deal more damage than you. Here I saw from the minimap that Gushan is actually trying to backdoor my team. Knowing that, I decided to check the first bush that is in this area, and true enough, this guy was here. For info, Yi Sun Shin's passive also works on towers. Now the Lord is out, I definitely want to push as much as I can with the Lord. I used my ultimate to review anybody that would try to ambush me along other lanes. Try to use your S1 to immune and to get away when you fight against heroes that are short range like Gatokacha or Alucard, so in this case I wasted my S1 so I had no escape ability. When your team gets wiped out, don't just give up, especially in the late game, because of the fact that in the late game anything can happen. Also, don't try to do any 1v5 shit, just play it safe and protect the towers and clear the minion waves. I believe that the team that wins in the late game is the team that makes the least dumbest decisions. Seeing that the other team had 3 enemies clearing the wave, I thought it was good time to take Lord. But using my ultimate, I saw that Gusion was coming to try to steal the Lord, which is why I thought that we should deal with him first instead of trying to take the Lord. Seeing the enemies disappear from the map means they were going to try to ambush me, so I used my ultimate to reveal their location. But remember when I said that a team wins when they make the least dumbest decisions? In this case, all three enemies decided to come together and stand together and let my Tigre out them to death. For this second game, I made many poor decisions. I auto-aim a lot of my skills and I positioned myself in very bad areas. So please learn from my mistakes and not commit these things. I lagged so hard here. And I still got a kill. When you fight against a Harley, please don't walk in a straight line. A poor start doesn't necessarily mean that you will lose the game. As a hyper, you should continue to keep up your farm so that you can match up to the enemy hyper. I hadn't played against a Harley in a very long time because he's always banned, so I misclicked over here and went towards the Harley instead of running away. Bad excuses. As the hyper, you should always be focused on the objective, but over here I miscalculated. I actually missed the retribution on the turtle and died. At this point I was feeling very frustrated with myself because I wasn't playing well and wasn't positioning myself properly. But don't let the frustration get to your head because you can still win even in this kind of situations. In this kind of situations, always continue to play smart and play safe. Don't be like the Johnson, just driving into enemy territory and dying a needless death. When you're losing in the late game, just continue to farm, continue to push so that you can keep the pressure on your enemy team up so that they don't get to push into your tower. this kind of late game, there are always certain heroes that you should focus on instead of trying to push. Zilong is one of them because he can easily backdoor your entire team and then take your tower down without you knowing. So if he's alone pushing, what you should do is to try to gank him. Keep on pushing when you're down so that the enemy is forced to defend. When you play MLBB, don't move in a straight line to chase your target, move in the anticipated direction that your target will move.
Attack the Lord! Attack the Lord!
When I saw that my Johnson was coming after this Brody, I knew that the Brody was dead, which is why I didn't chase after him. In a late game situation, the team that makes the least dumbest decisions will win. Had their side laners focus on pushing safely and not put themselves in situations where they have to run into our base in order to escape, they might have won. And definitely it helps to have late game heroes like Hanabi and Veil on our team. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and subscribe and click the notification bell and join my Discord if you want to talk to other people about Mobile Legends.